Hey guys and gals, it's me, George, the Shade Tree Railroad Man, and I've got a little bit of an update for down here on the railroad. And as you can see, I got things that trashed again. That means I've been working at it. And one of the things I've been working at is I finished hacking out the rocks on this piece along here, and I've given it its first coat of paint and also first coat of black wash. I've still got some more washes to do on it to bring out the texture more. And I've got more carving to do down in here. I've done most of the carving there and up there. And of course I'm going to do something to eliminate these straight, perfectly straight lines that come all the way down. And I have a couple ideas in mind. And another thing that I did, because this side of this mountain here was originally made to be open, because the layout was going to stop right along here, and this was going to be a walkway back in here, and so the side of this mountain was left open so I would have access inside of the mountain in case I had a problem with a derailment or something like that. Well, now that I'm closing this in, I still needed a way to access inside the mountain, because derailments aren't going to stop just because I decided to close it in. Well, I've made a panel. This is all glued on here now, and I've got to finish detailing it, of course, but I've made a panel that I can remove if there should be a problem. Watch this. Trying to hold the camera and do this with one hand is not the easiest thing in the world. And there you have it. See, now I can get down in there if I have to in case I have a derailment. That's the inside of my mountain. And then when I'm done, and actually if I have two hands, I can actually do this. I'm going to have a hard time putting it back in with one hand. I can actually move that out without moving the building if I have two hands to do it properly. But as you can see, it blends right in pretty well once it's back in place, and it's not quite in yet. But there you go. So that'll be my removable panel, and the way I get to push it out is by sticking my hand up and through here. Of course I knocked this off because this isn't glued in place, and I have to bring a big pier along this side to tie this in around the corner. And then another thing that I'm working on is over here where we have our water wheel, which will be alongside the mill, and I have started making a wooden base for both this side and this side that will be scenic, and eventually this rock will be getting stuck back in here somehow, probably cut down a little bit. But because this is all happening after the fact, and none of the stuff was really planned ahead very well, I didn't know how I was going to get my stream to go down under the track. So the best way to do that is to make the track disappear, and that's why we have this conglomeration right here. This is a bridge, believe it or not. I'm not a bridge. What am I saying? This is a mountain, and quite a mountain, ain't it? Bet you never saw one like that before. But what we're going to do, of course, this removes from here, is this is going to get carved and fitted in here in such a way that it will be removable, and yet when it's in place you won't tell that it's removable. We'll probably, like where it joins to the mountain up here, there's going to be a lot of greenery and stuff like that, so that if I have to pull this out to go for a derailment that's beyond my reach on the other side of the mountain, I can just pull that and lift it up out of there. And it serves a purpose that I can just put a, what do they call it? You know, an opening down in here. What do they call those things? Brain cramp. That's what I'm getting, a brain cramp. A cul-de-sac? No, not a cul-de-sac. Culvert. That's the word I want. A culvert. Wow. Not good. So that'll just be a culvert going underneath there. And so it'll take your imagination away from, because there'll be another tunnel portal over here on this end once this is all done. So yeah, so of course when I'm working on things and I'm brainstorming, I'm making a big mess at the same time and figuring out where things are going to go and how they're going to get fitted and all of that good stuff. And then I had another neat surprise the other day, and I'll show you that. My youngest son was at our local Savers here a week or so ago, and he called me on his cell phone. He said, "Hey Dad, you need any more train stuff?" And I said, "Sure, I can always use more train stuff if the price is right." And he said, "Oh, the price is right for you." And he said, "I got some stuff I'm picking up for you." And he did. He picked up all these cabooses and 2 gondolas and 3 box cars. And not only that, but he also picked me up 2 more in the same package. There were 2 Santa Fe engines, F7s or something like that. F7, F3, I haven't figured out how to identify the difference. One of them actually runs, and it runs pretty decent considering. The other one is going to end up being a non-powered unit, and they will eventually get painted to match the Shade Tree Railroad colors, the green and yellow. And yep, so that's one of the styles of engine that I really want to focus on. And that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A units and 1 B unit now. And then I have 2 steam locomotives, and I'm going to keep that Canadian Pacific engine. But then I'm probably going to sell or give away most of my other motive power. None of them are fantastic runners, and most of them are missing pieces and parts. This engine here was one that was given to me along with some other stuff by a fellow that runs a local consignment shop, and he got them in and most of the stuff was broken and he couldn't resell it, so he asked me if I wanted it, and I said sure. He knows that I have a layout, and I've brought him down and showed it to him. So whenever he finds stuff that he can't sell, he passes it on to me, which is nice. And I occasionally pass some stuff on to him. So, you know, one hand washes the other. One of the things that fella gave me not too long ago were these 2 engines up here. Now they're not powered. They're just resin display pieces, but I think they're kind of neat, you know. And so I've got them up here on display with my other display engines. Yep. And oh, you know, the Heavy Chevy family sent me these rail spikes. Well, I put them to use already, a practical use, more than just display. They're going to end up being displayed up there on that shelf too, I think. But I was using them for weights when I was gluing up that that mountain extension over there, you know. I glued all those pieces together. I needed some weight to hold them together while the glue was setting up. So I had them all stacked up over here with these on it. So that's what some of the things I've been doing down here. And I'll tell you, fellas that are involved with your model railroading, you really need to keep your eyes open when you go to the thrift stores, because it can be really helpful. I have bought bottles of sand at the thrift store for like 50 cents or $1. Now I want you to see this. This is rocks. And that was their price. I think that was a sales price, because somewhere I had seen another price underneath. Well, maybe that was their original price. And then they had it on sale. Here we go. Here's the sale price for $3. And I got it at the thrift store for $1. So those rocks are perfect. They're gray with black in them, and a lot of them are going to end up as part of my scenic work over here, because this is going to have lots of black in it, because you got to remember that's my coal mine going in over in that corner. And I'm going to be doing some filling of some of the seams along over here. I've painted my wall over further because and I'm going to put another piece of board up on this area up in here so that you don't see the brick or the blocks. You know, you can see the cement blocks there. I don't want that showing. So I'm going to put a piece of masonite back in there, paint it blue, and then once I get most of this mountain painted, I will be continuing my scenery by painting in the background to continue the mountains off into the distance, kind of like what we did over along there. And of course I've got to continue those around this wall and bring them up into here and tie all of these mountains together, you know. And another thing I'm thinking about doing is perhaps putting a divider right alongside of this pole and dividing off part of this area where the turntable is, so that when you're looking at the turntable and so forth, you're not seeing all the way over to the other side of the layout. So that's what I've been doing and some of my plans, and yeah, that's where we're at today on the Shade Tree Railroad. And that's a broad overview, a whole lot bigger than I ever anticipated it being, and more than I ever dreamed it would be. And yep, got a mess going on down here because I've been working on the bench too. Yeah. Okay then. Oh, what's that doing in here? That's not part of the railroad. Until next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Railroad Man, and the Gadget Bike Builder, saying thanks for watching. Bye now.